everybody, and welcome to Enchantment. I'm sure you'll be enchanted. Gauri has been part of Kalapriya since 2015. We were trying to list out all the different productions that she has created right here in Chicago, worked with different types of artists, with youth. Sometimes she has complained that I put her in front of difficult situations, but she has always done everything in shining colors. And the people who worked with her can never ever forget the quality of the work and quality of what they were able to produce because of Gauri. So I promised her that this would not be a recitation of Gauri's accomplishments, but it would be wrong of me not to start with recognizing that you're going to have a great production tonight. So, you know, the audience is the most important part of any arts production, because without an audience, we don't have a production. And without art, we don't have a healthy society. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting the arts, and I hope you will continue to do so. With that, I'm going to turn it over and let the show begin, because we're all waiting to see it. Thank you.
Friends, welcome to our play. Welcome to Enchantment. First of all, I begin by asking you, where do you start when you talk about such an extraordinary genius whose life spanned 9 decades, arguably the greatest sitar player his motherland had ever seen? The first and the foremost internationally acclaimed musician of India. A colossus who straddled the east and west, north and south, traditional and modern. The sitar maestro who put Indian music on the world map. You know who I'm talking about, Pandit Ravi Shankar, who was born in 1920 and left the world in 2012. Now the real question is, when you're talking about such a giant, how do you avoid the superficial? How do you go deep into his heart? How do you go beyond to find his soul? Impossible. Impossible? No. Surely you can access the man's heart through his music. But the problem here is that when you listen to Ravi Shankar's music, you forget the man, you forget yourself, you are lost in some rapture beyond thought, beyond analysis. But don't worry, there is another way. Pandit Ravi Shankar's own words. After all, the man wrote not one, but 2 autobiographies. And there are countless full-length features, interviews, profiles on print and screen across the world. Most importantly, there are my own interviews with the man, several interviews over the decades. I can draw from them. However, to shape the man through his words, I must summon the actor. Hey, Johan, where are you? Johan!
I'm here. I brought my guitar as a snow flies. On a cold and grey Chicago morning, a hungry little child is born in the ghetto. And and his mama cries. What do you think?
I have to ask you to stop because I said sitar, not guitar. Our play is about Pandit Ravi Shankar, the sitar maestro.
I can't play a single note on the sitar to save my life. I'm tone deaf to that kind of music.
Believe me, now that our audience has seen you, they will thank all the gods if you don't play the sitar or the guitar or any other instrument. Moreover, the only sitar we have in this play is a sitar that cannot be seen. It's not a sitar that is played live on the stage.
Sorry, Gauri, no, I can't do this because I can't see what possible fresh insight you could possibly hope to bring to this man who is forever under media glitz. I mean, the whole world and his wife know all about him.
Listen to me, Johan. Just listen to me. If you focus on the shadows and not the light, you can see new things, you know. After all, there's drama in the human saga of uncertainties, ambiguities, perplexities.
Gauri, listen. It's one thing for a wordsmith like you to spin your stories. It's a completely different thing for an actor like me to enact that story. I mean, how do you expect me to just morph into the sitar maestro? I don't look like him. I don't talk like him. I don't even feel like him.
Johan, just relax. Nobody expects you to magically morph into the 9-year-old boy Rubu and grow into Pandit Ravi Shankar, the 90-year-old doyen, right now, right here on this stage, before this audience. Besides, our play is not about Ravi Shankar the musician. It's not even about Ravi Shankar's music. All we are trying to do is to understand how the man saw himself, the people around him, the world which was becoming his stage. And also, just look at our audience. Nobody here thinks that you are the character. They know very well that you're the actor. Nobody expects you to clone Pandit Ravi Shankar, imitate his voice, mimic his mannerisms, copy his accent. All they want from you is this. They want you to explore the artist's struggle, the artist's soul.
The artist's soul?
Yes.
Huh. Well, no actor can really refuse the idea of trying to grapple with a character that is so different from his own world.
So you'll do it? Here.
Okay, I'll do it. And you'll be there with me, no? Lucky you. You just have to be playing yourself, stage manager.
No, I'm not going to be on the stage with you, but I am lucky because I found someone to take my place as the storyteller, the stage manager, the sutradhar. Arabi, where are you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Come.
Wait. She's going to be playing you.
Do you have any objections?
Oh, no. I mean, if she can convince them that she's you who are sitting here in flesh and blood, then I am definitely going to convince all of them that I am the man who's not here at all.
Ignore him. That is just performance anxiety. He will get over it. I, on the other hand, I might have a little bit of a problem.
What now?
I was not even born when most of those things were happening in Ravi Shankar's life.
Listen, do you think you have to be born in ancient Ayodhya to play Rama on the stage? Wake up, girl. All you have to do is to conduct the action, keep the flow going, step in to play a couple of cameo roles. Come along. Best of luck. Go for it.
Anyone at home? No one? I'm alone. That is something new. For most of my life, I've been called a globetrotter, a traveling Indian classical musician. Now here, now there, hardly ever alone, rarely ever free. A restless lifestyle, a restless mind. Where's the time to think about where I'm going and what I'm doing? Well, now that I find myself to be truly alone, I suppose I could look back, take a deep breath, and ask myself, who am I? How did I become who I am? No. That is too pretentious. How about, how did I become a musician? That's a good question. You see, when I was young, Indian music was a family tradition. Anybody could not just become a musician. You had to be the son of a son of a son of a son of an ustad or a pandit to be validated as a genuine article. I didn't have generations of pandits lined up behind me. My father had a Western education. He had been the Diwan of the Jalawar state. I heard he was a scholar, studied in music, but not like a professional one. Anyway, it hardly ever mattered because, you see, my father abandoned his wife and 5 sons, just like that. Went off to practice law in London, even married an English woman. I was only a child. But even then I realized that we meant nothing to him. He sent money to his sisters, but never to us. I don't know how Ma managed. Once as a minister's wife, she had lived a life of luxury with princesses and queens as her friends. And now I saw her working her sewing machine, stitching blouses to supplement her meager pension from the state. Often I saw her rummaging through the trunk and searching for a jewel or a silk sari and weeping as she handed it to the pawnbroker. Ma was very attached to me. I was her youngest son. I felt closest to her when I lay my head on her lap and listened to her stories about the gods. Ma spoke very little, but so sweetly she sang. I still recall those lullabies under the stars. I still sing those songs and remember my mother's love. So you see, the only songs I knew growing up were my mother's lullabies.
That's not strictly true, because little Ravi had access to another kind of music as well. Ravi's brother, Rajendra, was theatre mad. His room was crammed with musical instruments, all borrowed, to play the back score for his theatre club productions. Ravi would sneak into this room and try them all out. Sitar, esraj, tabla, harmonium, flute, everything. Somehow, he could reproduce whatever he heard them practicing. He picked up their songs just as easily. Imagine how surprised his family was when once, at a school function, they heard him sing one of these songs. Ravi's first public performance and first applause.
It wasn't music that obsessed me when I was young, but stories. Stories, especially of our epics. I pounced on every book and magazine that I could get my hands on. My mind turned those words into moving visuals. I saw those scenes as characters right before my very eyes. I didn't have playmates growing up. So what? I stood in front of a mirror. I imagined my own world. I created my own characters. Why, I was just about everybody.
Hero, heroine, god, demon, animal, dwarf, villain, clown. The valiant Prince Arjuna sees his target reflected in the water below, takes aim, releases the arrow, hits the target. The beautiful princess Draupadi garlands the winner Arjuna. Duryodhana jumps up. I will fight Arjuna. Bhima, Arjuna's older brother. Go, Arjuna, go. Take the princess and go. I will stop these fools. Arjuna shouts back, no, brother, I will stay and fight with you. All the enemies are vanquished. Draupadi, come, let us go. For young Ravi Shankar, growing up in Banaras was to be steeped in the culture of his homeland, Bharat. Oh, the thrill of waking up before dawn, bells ringing, conches blowing, drums beating, priests chanting, devotees singing, and the crowds crying out the Lord's name in the temple procession. Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho, Jai Jai Vishwanatha Shambho, Hara Hara Mahadeva Shambho, Jai Jai Vishwanatha Shambho, Hara Hara
Mata, Shri Jaya Gange Mata, Jo nar tujhko dhyata, Jo nar tujhko dhyata, Paramagati pata, Om Jaya Gange Mata.
পতিতোদ্ধারিণী গঙ্গে মা পতিতোদ্ধারিণী গঙ্গে মা পতিতোদ্ধারিণী গঙ্গে মা পতিতোদ্ধারিণী গঙ্গে শ্যাম বিতপি ঘন তট বিপ্লাবিনী ধূসর তরঙ্গ ভঙ্গে শ্যাম বিতপি ঘন তট বিপ্লাবিনী ধূসর তরঙ্গ ভঙ্গে পতিতোদ্ধারিণী গঙ্গে পতিতোদ্ধারিণী গঙ্গে নগরী তীর্থ হইল তব চুম্বি চরণ শুভমাই পথ নর নারী ধন্য হইল মা তব সলিলে অবগাহী বহিষ জননীয়ে ভারতবর্ষে কথা শত যুগ যুগ পাহি পরিশুশ্যামল কথা মর প্রান্তর শীতল পুণ্য তরঙ্গে পতিতোদ্ধারিণী গঙ্গে মা পতিতোদ্ধারিণী গঙ্গে মা পতিতোদ্ধারিণী গঙ্গে মা পতিতোদ্ধারিণী গঙ্গে।
The sun sets, the sky turns purple, and all the tableaus become silhouettes, rim-lit by the flames dancing on the funeral pyres, orange, red, purple, blue. Mist and smoke dissolve everything into a dream.
I am only a child, but yet I become dimly aware of my material world dissolving into the spiritual. I feel pure and light, and joy fills my heart, the deepest joy I had ever known. And then suddenly, someone drags me home.
It was curtains down on the age of innocence, when oldest brother Uday Shankar came to move the family from Banaras to Paris. Uday Shankar was already an international star, having partnered the legendary ballerina Anna Pavlova. In 1930, Uday had his own dance company and his dance ballets were a sensation in Europe.
To me, Uday appeared like a god, And when he danced, he was almost a god, filled with immense power and overwhelming beauty. He was the Superman who shaped my artistic and creative personality. I'd say my total being.
To the boy from Banaras, the Western world was a magical universe.
France enchanting, America dazzling.
But he was not blinded by the West.
I hungered for my homeland.
He pored over books on Indian art and sculpture.
I fell in love with India's past.
Deva, Asura, Tantra, Mantra, Siddha, Yoga, all triggered his imagination.
I dreamed of becoming a yogi, a saint.
But he was infuriated with the political situation in India.
I drew up elaborate plans to end India's British enslavement.
He heard about the freedom fighters marching in India.
I fantasized about fighting battalions of British soldiers.
That patriotism throbs in his tune for Muhammad Iqbal's poem.
Sare jahan se acha Hindostan hamara hum bulbule hai iski ye gulstan hamara Sare jahan se acha.
Ravi became very useful in Uday's dance company. He played multiple instruments in the orchestra. He danced as the monkey god. He writhed as the snake devil. He bounced as the village clown. Audiences adored him. Critics acclaimed him. Off the stage, he was moving in an exclusive circle of writers, painters, poets, musicians, movie stars, directors. Ooh, it was no ordinary life. It was Star Trek all the way.
Why, I was a dandy. I had modish clothes, trendy shoes, natty hairstyle. I reveled in the high life with the jet-setting literati. I knew all the flesh spots, hot spots, nightclubs, cabarets, floor shows, and strip shows. I saw my brothers and their many girlfriends. Women worshipped Uday wherever we went. To them, he seemed to personify the West's idea of Kama Sutra. And oh, those women, they drove me wild too. Rustling silks, heady perfumes, legs flashing by. They held me, fondled me, caressed me, kissed me, thinking I am a cute little boy. Little did they know that I didn't feel like a cute little boy. No, not at all. I was excited all the time. Nerves tingling, heart pounding, blood rushing. I wanted to be near them, feel them. Yes, I was in love with all the women. And all their daughters. All at the same time. I saw too much too early. I grew up too fast. I was only 14 years old when I fell madly in love at first sight with a girl from old Madras. Her name was Bala Saraswati. She danced of beauty. She danced of love. But this was a very different kind of love. This was human passion for the divine. When she called out to her Krishna, I knew it was I who was calling out to Krishna. I carried that dance with me for many, many years. I saw it again and again, each time in a rush of moonbeams, in a glory of 1,000 stars. Years passed, and I realized something which I had sensed only vaguely. An artist yearns for the universe, searches for the universe, sometimes finds that universe, and then strives to see what is beyond that universe.
Take any Indian art musician and say Guru. You will be drowned in a torrent of adulation. Guru, the mentor who guides me, the boatman who steers me, the pole star who directs me. In simple words, the Guru says, open sesame, and unlocks the world of music for you. Now, if you were born in a family of musicians, you have a guru at home, ready-made. If not, where do you find one?
1934, Kolkata, concert hall. On stage is an outlandish figure playing the sarod. Short dhoti, plain kurta, round black cap with mousy grey hair, but moustache inky black, goatee midnight black. On and on he plays. Again and again his strings break. Again and again he breaks into bizarre fits, raging tantrums, ludicrous antics. Look, he's cuffing his poor accompanist, his own son. And then he turns to the tabla player, yells at him, grabs the tabla, and starts playing it by himself. It is the freakiest show I've ever seen. But oh, the music he makes. Absolutely out of this world. I soon learn his name, Baba Alauddin Khan. I soon learn that his foul temper is as legendary as his musical genius.
That poor man had reason enough to have that temper. Baba Alauddin Khan was born in a peasant family in Bengal. Life was full of hardships. At home, who had the time to understand his passion for music? So he ran away from home with a band of traveling musicians, ate what he got, slept where he could, searching all the while for a guru. He finally made his way to Wazir Khan, a descendant of the legendary Tansen. It did him little good because for 2 years, Wazir Khan treated his disciple like dirt. But finally, one day, the Ustad unlocked the secrets to his art, and Baba felt blessed.
Baba, they say that only if you have earned great merit in many previous lives will you have the good luck to find your guru in your present one. Maybe I had that merit. Maybe it was my good luck that made you join Uday's troupe as a musician. And that is how I see you again. At this time in Bombay, we are bound for Paris. And look, your son Ali Akbar is also there with you. But he still cowers in fear, knees knocking, pale-faced. He looks as though he's spooked out of his wits. But wait, he finds the time to drag me away. We are alone. Chocolate? Cigarette! You, Baba's son, how? What if somebody sees us? I hate cigarettes, but this is a 13-year-old boy who's throwing a challenge at me. How can I refuse? No thanks. You know, I'm just so happy that you're coming with us. Now this
trip is going to be so much fun.
Me?
Yes.
With my Baba?
Yes.
No.
What?
No, are you mad?
Bhai?
Hey, no, are you mad?
Bhai? Ali Akbar has no intention of coming with us. He doesn't want to be thrashed all the way to Paris by his foul-tempered father. I had a nightmare. He wails. My mother fell mortally ill. What if it is a sign that I never see her again? And guess what? That little scamp actually got away with it. Baba believed him, sends him home. But me, I have to go on, leaving Ma behind. And now guess what? She's had a premonition that she would never see me again. We are on the docks by the sea, waiting to board our ship, when Ma comes to see us off, and she puts my hand into Baba's hand, and she says something uncanny.
Baba, my Robu is very chanchal, so restless. But he is young and he has just lost his father. I don't know if I will ever see him again. He is your son now. Please take care of him.
Baba's emotions were always over the top, and now he starts howling. Ma, you are Ratnagarbha. Your womb has brought forth a jewel. From now on I have two sons. Your son Robu will be my elder son.
Ravi and Baba board the ship. Ravi watches Ma sobbing on the dock till she gets smaller and smaller and fades away into the distance.
Will I ever see her again?
It was on this long journey by land and sea over countries and continents that Baba started teaching Ravi both sitar and vocal music, and yes, the Ustad remembered his promise and kept his temper reined in. They developed a quaint bond. Baba was the boy's guide in music, and the boy was Baba's guide in everyday things, including sightseeing. Ravi will never forget the strip show. Baba's jaw dropped. He hissed loudly. She's white all over. Toba, Toba. At the cabaret, Baba saw the devil. But in a cathedral, Baba saw God. Ravi saw his devout Muslim guru sense divinity not just in a mosque, but in the Hindu goddess Saraswati, and now in a Christian place of worship. He learnt an important life lesson. Music cuts bigotry, fosters unity, even love, amongst people of differing creeds. In our jet-setting age, it does seem strange to think that Team Uday Shankar sailed to France via Egypt, Greece and Palestine, and then by land over Bulgaria, Romania, Czechoslovakia, Austria, Hungary, Italy and Germany. They performed in all these countries as well. And finally, Paris. Paris meant wine and women and ultra chic. Summer took them to England, and it was here that Ravi choreographed his first solo dance. Flamboyant, spectacular. This was the dance of Chitrasena, a Gandharva in Indra's court.
appreciation for dancing and deafness with multiple instruments made me uppish and cocky. Yes, I was thoroughly spoilt. But music lessons kept me grounded. Rave reviews and doting fans cut no ice with Baba. He made me unlearn everything and retrain myself. He demanded single-minded, super-focused attention on the sitar. Baba was of the opinion that carnal activities drained a man of the energy that should rightfully go into making music.
You want to read, write, paint, dance. You are nothing but a butterfly. Flying here, flying there, always showing off. Look at you. You dress like a peacock. You strut like a pony. You drink like a fish. Chase girls all the time. No, I am not going to waste my time on you. I am going back to India. At least there, I can train my own son. What? You want me to stay? Continue lessons. No. You have one option left. Come to Maihar. Yes, that's a small town in India where I live. But no, you can't. You can't give up all this swank, this blinding glamour.
And so Baba left me. And soon after, Ma also left me. One day in the middle of hectic tours and shows, my brothers told me that Ma was no more. I felt choked, blocked, frozen, numb. Why couldn't I weep?
Meanwhile, Hitler's armies started marching and the family had to come back to India.
I rushed to Maihar and threw myself at Baba's feet. Of course, Baba demanded brahmacharya, total celibacy. And no ego either. He stamped out whatever self-pride was left in you. Was it suicide? Yes. Was it torture? Yes. But this was my sacred thread of hope. The only way that I could be reborn into a new life. Doubts gnawed at my vitals. You see, I had no idea what this new life would bring.
Maihar. Small, remote, medieval Maihar town in central India. A princely state under the British. Haunted by legends, surrounded by ruins. What a surreal landscape for a boy from the haunts of Paris and London and New York.
With Baba, life was Spartan. A pocket-sized room, coarse mat,
Bamboo cot. No fan.
flies, mosquitoes, cockroaches, lizards, and sometimes even scorpions insisted on sharing my room. In the dark nights amplified every sound. Crickets scraped, frogs croaked, snakes slithered, and wolves howled.
7 years in Maihar. 7 years. Ravi saw 30 students arrive and run away, unable to withstand Baba's devilish outbursts. But Ravi himself was spared because whenever Baba lost his temper with Ravi, he would simply grab another boy and thrash that poor kid. If Baba could not find another boy, he would catch hold of a dog and beat the living daylights out of that poor creature.
I practiced all day. There was nothing else to do, nowhere to go. Years passed. Doubts plagued me. Was I misled by a mirage? Had I thrown away everything that I had to chase some pipe dream?
What kept me going? What kept me going was Baba's inspired teaching, as he forgot himself and he sang the rags. Yaman, Lalit, Manj Kamaj, Hemant, Puriya, Jai Jayanti. Nevertheless, I became depressed. Why? I didn't think I was making any progress with my music. You see, my mind stayed far ahead, but my hands stayed far behind. And then, one day, the clouds parted. The sun shone. My torturous practice had paid off. My hands began to produce. What my head imagined.
Seven years rolled by. 7 years for Baba to agree that Ravi had made some progress. He then allowed Ravi to join the famous India Cultural Centre established by brother Uday Shankar in Almora. It was here that Ravi reconnected with a dancer in Uday's company with whom he'd had some wild times before.
I couldn't help myself. I was hungry. I had been celibate for so long. And then, out of the blue, my family decides to get me married to Annapurna, Baba's daughter. I mean, not a romance. No, not at all. I mean, it's not that I didn't know her. She used to join Ali Akbar and I in our music classes on her surbahar. That's their family instrument. But I used to tell her ghost stories at night to scare her. You know, when you are asleep, there is a dark grey cloud over your bed, and 2 red eyes stare out from it, and it gets closer, 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 until... boom! But I didn't dare sneak a single glance at her. Any hanky-panky with Baba's daughter and I'd be kicked out for sure. That's why. And now he wanted me to marry her. Before the wedding, he insisted that she become a Hindu.
Annapurna was 15 years old and Ravi was 21. They were both too young and totally mismatched. He was a vain, debonair, sophisticated, cosmopolitan, and she was simple, naive, inhibited, insular. Raised in a small town, in a hidebound family, by a tyrant father. How could Annapurna be anything but straight-laced?
In later years, I've asked myself many, many times, why did I get married to Annapurna when I was emotionally and physically involved with another girl? Didn't I want to be footloose and fancy-free? Didn't I think that marriage would interfere with my pursuit of music? So then why did I become a householder at all? Then I remembered how Baba suddenly left us in Europe, rushed to Mysore when he heard that his son was wasting his time. You see, in the old Gharana system of Indian classical music, a guru passes on his knowledge to sons and members of their own clan through successive generations. Baba's departure, therefore, was not just to get his son in line, but to ensure perpetuating his heritage. If I became Baba's son-in-law,
and I could claim that privilege. If I truly became a part of his family, he would have to give me everything without holding back. There would be no secrets between us.
The newlyweds moved into Baba's house in Maihar. What do you think? A big mistake. And then Ravi messed up. He confessed everything to his 16-year-old wife and swore he would be pure and faithful from then on. What a blunder! Annapurna was hardly prepared for these revelations. Shocked and repulsed, she shrank from Ravi.
It was weird. She had absolutely no doubt about my sins, but she had every doubt about my penitence. She never trusted me again. She believed that I was unfaithful to her every single time I left to perform, which I wasn't. I mean, it was crazy, crazy. I tell you, what is the use of all this hellish self-control if you're not going to get the credit for it?
The birth of a child, Shubhendra, little Shubho, added to their troubles. Long nights spent taking care of a cranky infant really did not improve their tempers. Ravi and Annapurna were even less suited to being parents than to being partners. He was plagued by fears of career failure, and she by jealousy. But at this point, it is only fair to note that Annapurna Devi never went on record speaking about their marriage. So all that we do know is from Ravi Shankar's side of the story.
And then we moved to Bombay.
Ravi struggled to establish his career.
Money was scarce.
Success an illusion.
And then I felt terribly ill.
Annapurna's hands were full with the child.
My brother Rajendra lived next door.
He sent his wife's young sister to nurse Ravi.
Kamala, stunning beauty, an apsara.
Surprise, surprise! The leopard has regained its spots.
Annapurna upped and left for Maihar, taking little Shubha with her.
Ravi's brother got Kamala married off to a friend. Double quick.
Annapurna returned, but not without the green-eyed monster to ravage us both.
Home became a battlefield,
We tried to give concerts together.
proudly showcasing their Maihar legacy.
Oh God, no.
Audiences decided that the wife was the better musician.
Funny, they saw us as rivals, antagonists.
Bitterness grew. The marriage fell apart.
And then Kamala's husband died quite suddenly.
This brought Kamala back into Ravi's orbit,
Annapurna left again.
but refused to divorce Ravi.
I couldn't marry Kamala.
Like he desperately wanted to.
Kamala became everything to me. She was the shoulder that I leaned on before I took all those risks and became an international star. She was my confidant, my Sakhi, my assistant, my counselor. She was the woman of my dreams. But I couldn't stop philandering. But I told her everything. Thought she understood. However, after 24 years of understanding, Kamala decided to part ways. Why did it come to this? Was it because it was too late by the time Annapurna finally released me? Or was it because by the time I had had 2 daughters by 2 different women on 2 sides of the Atlantic? Decades passed. And one day I met Kamala again. I had to find some answers. Kamala, Why did you leave me so suddenly? I know I was unfaithful to you, but I gave you my trust. There were no secrets between us.
I knew I was not the only woman in your life.
You didn't seem to mind.
You could be Krishna always. But how long could I play Radha?
I thought you understood.
Understand. Understand? Understand when I saw you getting simultaneously involved with a woman in London and a woman in New York. And 2 daughters with barely 2 years between them.
I thought you had accepted me for what I am, warts and all.
Oh yes, you were very clear about what you could not give me. It was I who deluded myself. I told myself that your music is so sublime that one day you would outstrip your basic instinct. One day we would be soulmates. More fool me. It took me 24 years to understand that it could never be.
I never saw this in you.
How could you? You saw everything from your side alone. But honestly, tell me, did you really think that all you had to do was to be frank about your promiscuity and all the pain it caused would magically disappear?
Kamala, I respected every woman in my life. Whatever happened was consensual.
You are a god. Who can resist you?
You break my heart.
I'm sorry. I did not leave you because there were other women in your life. I left because I understood that for you, promiscuity is not merely a physical addiction. It's something else altogether. You are obsessed with the quest, not its fulfillment. You want the journey, not its end. You know it's the same with your music. You make music to invoke peace, but if you were ever to find that quiet place, you would be emptied from within.
Kamala, what are you trying to say?
Restlessness empowers you. You are creative because you are chanchal. My dear, don't you know this already?
हाय रे वो दिन क्यों ना झिलमिल वो तारे कहाँ गए सारे मन बाती जले बुझ जाए हाय रे वो दिन क्यों ना आए
सोनी मेरी वीणा संगीत बिना सपनों की माला मुरझाए आए रे वो दिन क्यों ना आए जा जाके ऋतु जा जाके ऋतु लौट आए रे वो दिन क्यों ना आए
Like all human beings, I am flawed. I'm still trying to unlock my voice through my music.
understand my deepest and darkest desires and fears. Well, there is much about me that I cannot explain, even to myself. But Sukanya never asked for any explanations, did she? Sukanya, from the moment I saw her, mid-70s, I think it was, in London, I couldn't take my eyes off her. She was so young. She was so lovely. She was so married. But I believe some higher power brought Sukanya into my life. You knew I had a woman in New York and a woman in Bombay.
I did not speak of them.
Were you upset when my daughter Nora was born?
No, all I wanted was to have a child with you.
And I said I would not be part of that decision.
I did not protest.
I refused to acknowledge our child for many years.
I did not complain.
I resisted the idea of marriage.
I made no demands.
I stopped talking to you.
I did not blame you. Did I blame you?
I gave you a ring.
I did not ask why.
I announced that we were to be married.
I did not ask why it took so long.
I would not have lived as long or had a life in music for so long without you. Here I am in New York, and here it is, splashed across this magazine. Special sitar recital at Carnegie Hall by Pandit Ravi Shankar, the godfather of world music. Godfather. Makes me sound like a mafia don. By the way, what is world music? A giant dump for all the music that does not conform to the Western classical system. What else? Ravi Shankar became famous because of the Beatles, especially George Harrison. Ravi Shankar gained international acclaim when he played music along with legendary violin maestro Yehudi Menuhin. Ravi Shankar was the first Indian musician to play music at the Monterey Pop Festival 1967 and Woodstock 1969. Wow, wow, wow. I am 75 years old. I am an Indian classical musician. I have spent the last 60 years mastering my art and craft. I designed a special sitar with extra strings and resonator to suit the style that I had crafted. I dove into the old rags, discovering their depth and sweet, their secret nooks and crannies, their subtle hints and nuances. From our folk tunes, I drew fresh colors and vibrant tones, and that is not all. I composed new rags, Gangeshwari, Parameshwari, Tilaksham, Charukons. One of them is Mohan Kons, my homage to Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Yet what is my claim to fame? Woodstock, Beatles, East meets West, Monterey.
If anybody calls me the great hybridizer again, I will simply go mad. And now I must meet one more pen pusher from my own country. I must keep my cool. I must stay calm. But one more godfather of world music. Oh, I don't know what I will do.
Namaste, Pandit Ji. Namaste. I am honored to meet the godfather of world music.
My God, what do I look like? Marlon Brando? Where's my cat? Come, sit. In truth, I do not feel like a godfather of world music or any other sort of music. I am simply an Indian classical musician.
Thank you very much for your time. I know you're really busy. Can we start right away? I have so many questions for you.
That sounds scary.
Why?
Because at this stage in my life, I have more questions than answers. But I will try to do my best.
Well, whatever you may say, the Beatles, George Harrison, did call you the godfather of world music. Did it all start when George Harrison came to India and became your disciple? Suddenly, Indian classical music flashed into the psychedelic zone. The sitar popped up in Beatles songs. By the way, what did you think of this?
Stop it, enough. I couldn't keep my ears shut. But I kept my mouth shut. I had to. My nephews and nieces were going gaga over George. But I told George right at the very start, no crash course in our Indian music. But he had dedication. I absolutely loved him for being genuine in whatever he did. He became a son to me.
And then Monterey, Woodstock. You became a rock star, beatnik guru, hippie icon. How surreal this must have been for you. Thousands of flower children swaying, clapping, breathless, blissed out.
You mean 40,000 people sinking into the slush like our water buffaloes in a muddy swamp? Drugged, hallucinating, stoned, freaking out. I was afraid that my sitar would get damaged in the pelting rain. I begin to play. The audience starts swaying like whirling dervishes, shrieking, smoking, snorting. Some of them simply keeled over and conked out. And there he was.
Who?
Jimi Hendrix.
And?
What is he doing? Plucking out the hair of his chest, one by one, methodically. So if you think it was all one big historic conquest, no, it was a horror show.
But Raviji,
Why did I swallow my disgust and carry on? Believe me, that is a question that I've asked myself many times. Sure, I walked off the stage, but I had to come back and play for the concerts that I had been booked for.
But it wasn't just pop and jazz. You also played with the who's who of classical music. Yehudi Menuhin, Philip Glass, Andre Prava, Jean-Pierre Rampal, Zubin Mehta, all on equal terms. In fact, they were humbled by the experience. Didn't Menuhin say, I was terrified to play with Ravi Shankar. I thought I was in no way worthy.
Yehudi Menuhin, he had a rare humanity. He embodied the Indian ideal of Vinaya, what we Indian musicians aspire to be but are often not. In fact, all my collaborators were not only the best but intent on doing their best. You see, I couldn't play Bach or Handel. It had to be the music that I composed, based on an Indian rag. As serious and challenging as these adventures were,
I knew they couldn't be my main pursuit, my major vocation.
Were these interactions with Western musicians perhaps then part of your career advancement plan? A deliberate formula? A strategy?
Now I hear it. The asli sur, the journalist's voice. Snip, bite, sting. Arey, our music is neither programmed nor planned nor even strategized. Whatever I play is improvised on the spur of the moment, so how can I be anything but spontaneous, impulsive? Sure, I enjoyed the acclaim, but if I wanted to restrict my ambition to personal success alone, why, I could have stayed in the rock circuit. But pop music changes from month to month, week to week. The music that I trained in is timeless, like literature. You see, I am proud of the heritage of India, the music of Bharat. I was hell-bent on making other countries, continents and cultures recognize its magnificence.
And
I wanted to enlighten the whole world, launch an epiphany.
And this was a self-imposed mission.
Oh yes. Quite disheartening at first. I remember once a late-night host of a primetime show, he asked me, Mr. Ravi Shankar, your sitar sounds so bizarre. Is it true that Indian music is associated with drugs? Does your music spread chemical intoxication?
And then all these other critics joined in with, oh, Ravi Shankar has made his sitar sound like a banjo.
But I carried on. I did not give up. City, town, village, I went everywhere dragging poor Alaraka along with me. We stayed in drab cells and shoddy lodges, played in cramped spaces, dingy chambers, grey homes, for a smattering of uninformed people. Alaraka was always homesick. I used to sort of play pranks with him, sometimes take his tabla, give him my sitar and say, you play that, I'll play this. And just perk his mood up. Once in Sweden, I remember, Alaraka was lugging his tabla, me, my sitar, and we were climbing 8 flights of stairs. Up, 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 freezing cold, no elevator. On floor 3, Alaraka slumps down and starts howling like an overgrown baby. Ya Khuda, take me home, Abhi! Believe me, I wanted to slump down right next to him and howl along with him. But I did not. I carried on because I believe that our Indian music is mind-blowing. And I needed to find new ways to blow their minds away.
Well, someone, one of your rivals, thought this was all wrong. He said, I only quote, he said, why take our music to the West? If they want to listen to Indian music, let them come to India. And don't you dare introduce our music through the Beatles.
These Gharana musicians, umpteen musicians up the family tree, they have their opinions. What else did he say?
He said, your soul will abuse you if you mix Western and Indian music, join rock festivals, invent new routes to fool the people.
How can I forget that day? 1952, the Constitution Club. Ali Akbar and I are getting ready to start our Sitar Sarod duet. Patrons, connoisseurs, critics, Delhi's literati are packing this space, men all spruced up, women dripping with jewels, all eagerly waiting to hear Baba Aladdin Khan's prized disciples. And then, out of nowhere, a young man storms in, brandishing his sitar like a weapon. Vilayat Khan, son of?
Inayat Khan.
Inayat Khan, son of?
Imdad Khan.
Imdad Khan. Cloaking impudence with deference, he asks, in courtly Urdu. Adab. The stage is adorned with splendid blooms. May I add my fragrance? Next thing I know, he's sitting on the stage as though he owns it. Ali Akbar puts his sarods down. Baba issues a warning, play with respect. But Vilayat has no intention of showing respect, nor spreading fragrance. He turns our duet into a duel. We hit the high notes, my strings break, he just goes on and on and on.
And they say the audience went wild over him.
Yes, I'm sure they did.
But only fair to say that years later, the same Vilayat Khan had this to say about your duel. I'm sorry, I meant your duet. He said, I regret to think of my Jugalbandi with Ravi Shankar. Bitter, competitive, vengeful. But the jibes didn't quite stop, did they? Once, after mesmerizing his audience at a concert, he grabbed the mic and announced, "You have to be born from a mother's womb to play like this, not drop down from helicopters." Of course, he meant your arrival at Woodstock.
Enjoying this, are we?
No, I'm just remembering what he said at a press meet. All this sawal jawab, razzle dazzle that Ravi Shankar introduced. Why? The sitar performs, the tabla performs, even the audience perform. His own Alara Khan Zakir Hussain dare not try these tricks with me. If they do, won't I make them sweat?
Are you done?
But peacemakers would have it that there was no personal rivalry between the two, just differences in creative outlook.
What do you think?
Me? I'm not here to think. I'm just here to listen and to record. But I've heard it said that neither the Ustad nor the Pandit could have soared to the heights they did without the other to inspire them. After all, who were they playing for if not for each other? But Ravi ji, it was not just Vilayat Khan. There were many others who denounced you for what they called prostituting Indian art and culture.
Critics. My own country slamming me. How hurtful it felt. But I came back to India, stayed there and played my music and proved that I was as authentic as anybody.
Meanwhile, your perfect scores for Indian films didn't always get the perfect response. Satyajit Ray never worked with you after the Apu trilogy. Lata Mangeshkar refused to sing for you after Anuradha.
I see you have done your homework. Yes, it hurt. But you must admit that Ray made some sublime films and Lata, she is Lata. You know, something strange happened when I was tuning that song for her. Do you know it? Piya Jane Na. I glanced at the lines. Seasons come and go. The heart holds its secrets. Why, oh my love? I don't know. And then, suddenly, a tidal wave rushed over me, and I felt myself going up, gasping, struggling to snatch the days that had gone by, those that had left me forever. Time was passing. Fame, wealth, love, honor, all dissolving like mist. I saw myself out of time, out of space, outside of myself. And then the music was there.
बदराना सोहे बरखाना भाई बदराना सोहे क्या कहूँ जो पूछे मोसी मोरी सखियाँ पिया जाने ना है कैसे दिन बीते कैसी बीती रतियाँ पिया जाने ना
Ravi ji, thank you so much for your time. But before I go, may I ask you, you've had a phenomenal career. Does fame ever make you feel dizzy?
Yes. Once I remember a cab in Manhattan. I saw this cab driver looking at me through the rearview mirror, and I thought to myself, oh my God, he's recognized me. He's going to ask me for an autograph. What a bore. Sure enough, when I paid him the fare, he turns to me and he says, dude, you're awesome. You're my favorite Bollywood dancer.
But seriously, for someone who has done just about everything, is there anything you're still looking for?
Yes. I am still seeking the silence that lies between the notes. That, my friend, is the true power of music.
That, I am afraid, is too mystical for me, but still, I'd hate to ask you a goofy question.
And I would love to give you a goofy answer.
Have you at any time felt any irrational fear?
Irrational fear. Irrational fear. I've always wondered if Baba was right after all, about all my music just draining out of me because I was chasing girls.
Any doubts, regrets, misgivings? I mean, if you could live your life all over again, would you do it any differently?
Doubts, regrets, misgivings. I did not have the ideal father, but that doesn't mean that I couldn't have been a better father. Somehow, paternity didn't suit me. It's not that I did not enjoy my children, but with my hectic schedule, where was the time to answer all their questions, look after all their responsibilities? No. Sometimes I think about my son, Shubho, my unlucky son. People say that he was lucky to have been trained by both Annapurna and me. Of course, we wanted him to continue the Maiher legacy, but the boy grew up in a miasma of bitterness. A dysfunctional father, a martinet mother. I mean, how could Baba's daughter be anything but tyrannical? I still recall how Shubho virtually begged me to take him with me to the US. I did. Continued to teach him. We tried to give concerts together. But the boy was too scarred to go on. He was too psychologically damaged. Things didn't go well. How could they? Shubho ended up working as a clerk in a liquor store
to support his wife and family. Imagine Baba's grandson, my son, working as a clerk in a liquor store. How can I forget that I was too sick to travel, and your mother too much of a recluse to be by your side when you passed away. People blame me for your tragic life. Your even more tragic death. Oh, Shubho. Oh, Shubho. I am crushed. But the universe is full of compassion. And although I am hardly the model father, God gives me a second chance. A chance to see two young daughters grow up to be two beautiful women. One who finds her own music and one whom I groom in music. So, am I content? Years ago, on the docks by the sea, when I was 13 years old, my ma called me Chanchal, restless. If I could live my life again, I would learn to be sharp, tranquil, not Chanchal, restless. I would restrict myself to Shastriya Sangeet, pure, high Indian classical music. I would go deeper and deeper and deeper until... Who am I kidding? Can I be someone else? Not explore the unexplored? Chanchal am I, so be it. I cannot change. I will not change. I have to be myself. To be myself. To be myself is to know that I am invincibly rooted in my magnificent Indian classical system. To know that making music is a prayer for compassion, a penance, an atonement, the bliss of redemption.
ॐ भूर्भुवः सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
हे नाथ हम पर कृपा कीजिए। हे नाथ हम पर कृपा दूर कर अंधकार ज्ञान का आलोक दीजिए। हे नाथ हम पर कृपा कीजिए। दूर कर अंधकार ज्ञान का आलोक हम पर कृपा कीजिए हे नाथ हम पर कृपा कीजिए हे नाथ हम पर कृपा
I ache for the light. I reach for the stars. I find the sun. Ravi. Within myself. Om Tat Sat.
I can't find words. Yeah. I'm not going to introduce Gauri again. Gauri is the creator of this vision. Bhavya and
Johann Chaco, with 15 shows from coast to coast in this country as Pandit Ravi Shankar, I think Johann has forgotten that he is really a dentist. Arabi Veeraraghavan. Arabi has been with me from the time she was 20. So this has been a very happy experience for us working together. Bhavya Kumaran. In this show, we have two Chicago girls, Harini Neelakantha. And someone without whom it is impossible for us to do anything on the stage or off stage on this trip, Sneha Shijit on lighting and sound. And before I hand over to Mridu, I honestly want to thank you for making the time to come and join us here and be part of this celebration of an extraordinary genius whose genius seems to shine all the more inspiringly for me because he was so human. And I was also, I would be remiss if I did not say that the music for this production was sung, of course, you would have recognized the voice, by the lead vocalist was Bombay Jayashree, and the Vignesh Ishwar, and the boy from the Bay Area, Aditya Prakash, who sang Hey Nath in the end, and a small bit was sung by Chaitra Sairam, who was a disciple of Bombay Jayashree. And I also wish to acknowledge that this was beautifully recorded by Sai Shravanam in Resound India, and Sai has also played the tabla and Vishnu Vijay played the flute. Having said that, I would really have to I don't even find words for it. Mridu has been such a dear friend for so many years. And she's a sister who was not born to my mother, but we discovered each other and we are really bound by ties of sisterhood, so strong that I hope that this will continue. Because I'm a Hindu, I believe that we have rebirth. So through the generations, and also I wish to honestly express my deep gratitude to Kalapriya for continuing to support my work and to support all these young people who bring me and I am sure all of you so much joy. Thank you. And yes, the tech people here in this hall, honestly, they have been super. The lighting was something that we dream of, but we don't always get. The sound, the mics, you would have experienced it. Almost like the natural voice. How willingly, how supportively these people helped us to put this team together. So a huge, big thank you to the tech team here. And to John here. So thank you very much. I don't think there's anything else that I need to say except this has been a delightful evening for me to see all of you here enjoying the play.
This is just the first performance in Chicagoland. We have another one tomorrow at 2 o'clock in Hyde Park at the International House, and we invite you to come back and see the nuances of what you missed today. Because
more somewhere else too.
Pardon?
You can have more programs of this.
That she's suggesting we run more programs of this. Be happy to. I think, we'll work something out. But not just this, you see, the beauty of what Gauri does is getting to the skin of the character. She speaks about the character in his own words, in other people's words, and if you did not recognize, the journalist in that set was she herself, okay? And I can rattle off 12 years of productions that we have done together. So many iterations, 15 episodes of the Mahabharata. She has come and worked with the South Side children, teaching them what it was like to be a child in independence movement in India. And they don't forget it. They come back year after year. Many of them have decided they want to be directors, producers. So, her work really gives me great joy because we are able to address issues with the same old stories. But you can find in Ravi Shankar's story, the way she's portrayed it, our own lives. But I want to come back to the issue of audiences. It's really hard to put together a show, and having audiences like you is a great gift. Thank you so much. And Taraji, who's asking for another production, was in California, in San Francisco area. And she saw it then, and she's back here.
Oh, I see. Oh, wow. Thank you. That's special. Sit. Ritu. Thank you once again.
Team. Kerry, Harini, of course, you all know. And in the back, Nikita Bellari and Cassie. It takes a lot. And to see Harini and Bhavya dance together is a sheer joy.